Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and today we're taking a look at DiRT Rally. Now this is a rally game made by Codemasters, and yes, it is part of the DiRT series. However, this is a pretty significant departure from what the DiRT series has become. If you've played DiRT 2 and DiRT 3, you'll notice that the focus has been more on slightly more arcadey handling and an overall focus on rallycross. But DiRT Rally promises to be a full simulation again, and a return to the WRC. So let's take a look and see what's what. Now, anybody that knows me will know that I've had a bit of a thing for rally games for a very long time. One of the very first games I played was, in fact, V-Rally 2, a very, very long time ago. And since then, it's sort of a game that I've been playing a lot, and it's definitely one of those games that I have a personal soft spot for. So, how do I start by talking about DiRT Rally then? Well, I've got to make a comparison to other rally games, obviously. And to do that, I've gone back and played WRC 4, the last rally game that I took any serious interest in for the longest time. Alright, so here I am on Sweet Lamb in Wales in WRC 4. Now it's raining, it's sunny at the same time, and this is what the game looks like. Now, don't get me wrong, I like WRC 4 a lot. And I mean a whole lot. It's one of those games that I could play for hours and be pretty terrible at it. At least by my standard anyway, pretty terrible. And still have a lot of fun with it. But it always felt very lacking in terms of, well, not just graphical fidelity. I mean, it looks okay, but by today's standards, it is a little bit lacking. But what I felt always let down a little bit by was the way it handled terrain. Simply because the only difference in terrain wasn't just because it was bumpy and all that, it was because the changes in traction were always very, very abrupt. For example, on this track, it's mostly wet gravel, or even mud in some cases, and it just feels like a slippery road. In fact, of course, in real life that's what it is, but it never really felt like you were actually on a dirt road. And that was my biggest problem with it. While it was still a fun rally game, after all being the only serious rally game out at the time, it still could have had a lot more to it. And now for comparison, here's DiRT Rally. This is also in Wales under similar conditions and over the same sort of terrain with exactly the same car. And immediately there's a difference. I mean, yes, the track layout is a little bit different, sure. But you can see not only does the game look more natural, it also feels a lot more natural. One reason being that the terrain flows and handles a lot more like the actual thing. Changes in traction happen a lot more frequently than they do in WRC 4. In addition, the track itself has a lot more detail in it. The straightaways and the banks and even some of the turns have sort of slight dips and bumps all over the place, giving it an overall more realistic feel. The way in which the car reacts to these also is a lot more realistic than any other rally game so far.
Right 6. Into left 5, keep right over crest. Left 5, keep right over crest.
But of course I can't be sitting here making all the comparisons for the entire video. And of course what you want to see is actual live gameplay. So if you've been following the channel recently, you will have noticed I put up a preview video of DiRT Rally before, and that showed a replay of one of the tracks on Greece. And I thought, well, it would be interesting to try and do a live recording of that exact stage. So we're going to discard the previous one, go into rally mode, and let's start up a single stage on the Greece tracks. Now, DiRT Rally only has 3 maps available right now, but it has a very large selection of cars already available, and in fact each map has several different stages in it. This is just Greece alone, it already has what looks to be quite a number of actual tracks. I think I counted there 8, maybe, and of course you can change conditions and time of day even. So let's go and have a look at... I believe it was this one, the Coryphe Daphne was the one I played on. I could be wrong about that, but let's see what's what. Now, in that one I tried out the Group A car. So we're going to have a look at all the cars available. These are the 1960s, and you have the Cooper S and the Lancia Fulvia available. 1970s, of course, you have the Ford Escort, Fiat Abarth, and the Lancia Stratos. A very good looking car indeed. And then you have the rear wheel drive and the Group B or four wheel drives after that. So I'm going to go back to the Group A, where I was playing in the Subaru, and I think we're going to go with that again. Alright, so you've seen the comparisons and I've talked about the terrain, so how's the game actually to play? Well, unfortunately, I'm playing this right now as I'm talking to you, and this is not going to be easy, so I will try to do my best at concentrating and talking at the same time. One thing I will say is they've handled the physics of the cars, and the terrain simulation is fantastic. You can really get a sensing of it through playing, just by kind of watching where the car's direction is changing. You can really notice the weight shifts during steering, and even in transitioning between the different types of terrain, between different types of gravel or tarmac, and all, it's all very, very noticeable. And one thing to take note of as well, every single bump that you see here on the road is an actual bump. It's very, very noticeable. So even the smallest looking, most harmless looking bump can be kind of dangerous. So one thing about this is that while the higher detail makes it seem more natural, it requires a lot more focus to play. You can see they're losing concentration and actually going wide on that corner and a little bit more than I would normally.
100 up.
And just cutting the corner just a little bit there. Trying to stay away from that sheer drop on the side there. Now, one thing I have noticed, if you've seen the replay that I did on this stage before in a previous video, you'll notice the effects don't seem very nice. In fact, graphically it seems kind of dated in replays, and I'm not sure exactly why that is. Because if you're looking at the game right now, of course I'm playing using a nose cam right now, but if I was to switch to cockpit view, the graphics don't look that bad. I mean, maybe it's based on the same engine as DiRT, I suppose, which is kind of an older graphics engine. But even then, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, the terrain is nicely detailed, the cars are nicely detailed as well. Yeah, textures may seem a little bit lower res than what people might be used to by now, but I'm sure that can be updated later on, who knows. Either way, it's not sort of a game that you play for the graphics, really. Rally games have always been about the handling, and on that front at least, this is a 10 out of 10. They've nailed it, just because of the way that the cars handle. And one thing as well, the sound design. The sound design in this game is fantastic. It's not a matter of just listening to car engines, of course. I mean, most people who, don't play a lot of racing games might not notice this, sure. But if you listen to every single part of the engine, the way the tires are hitting the ground, even the gravel hitting the bodywork, each one of it has variety. It changes. I don't know how many people are noticing what I'm noticing right now, but you really can hear a difference. It's not a repeating loop of gravel noise or engine. It's simply... And it's kind of hard to describe this because if you listen, the most noticeable one, if you listen to the wastegate, that is the sound of the pressure valve on the turbocharger releasing every time there's a gear change, you'll notice it doesn't sound exactly the same every time. So it's a lot of variety in that, and it makes it more immersive, a lot more immersive. And I mean, that's how real cars really sound. They don't always sound the same. Everything is mechanical, and people always underestimate the importance of good sound design. So, in terms of immersion anyway, that side they've nailed it completely as far as I'm concerned. Now before we go, we're going to try one more track to see how I am on one that I've never tried before. So we're going to go to Monaco, and you know, I'm going to put it in the daytime just so you can actually see this. And we're going to go on an icy track. Alright, so this is in the afternoon in Monaco in the snow, and I'm going to take a WRC car. I'm going to go with the Ford Fiesta RS Rally. And we'll see how we do. Now, loading times of this game are very, very short, so this shouldn't take too long at all. And I fear this may be quite a long track, just having a look at it now, but we're going to do our best. So for this part, I'm going to talk less about the game and more about the actual gameplay and kind of describing what I'm doing, so hopefully that isn't too distracting for you guys. Already it's a narrow track. Alright, this is tarmac, so we're going to have a little bit more grip on this going in, and that's a sharp turn, brakes on. Scraping the wall there a little bit. And just slightly fishtailing it there. Now, this car is obviously a lot heavier than the Impreza we were driving earlier, so you can definitely feel that weight, though. It seems to have a lot more of a heft to it when you turn into corners. But that acceleration, though. Alright, we've got a hairpin coming up, brakes on. The tyre's just squealing in pain there on the way in. Through, just kind of pulsing the throttle all the way through that turn there, trying to keep the grip on. And I'm just going to feather it a little bit more on the straight there, because I don't want to carry too much speed into the next corners. Now, it's obviously hurting our time here, but this is the first run. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know what I hit, but it totaled the car completely, so here we go.
Into left 3 long, 100. Hairpin right.
There's hairpin coming up. Brakes.
Into left 5.
Now I did slightly forget that this is a tarmac road, so we are actually not able to slide as much as we would like. So we're going to try and limit the drifts until we get onto something a little bit more slippery.
Right 3 long. Into left 3 long, don't cut.
Just having to fight the car a little bit. It is trying to bite back after every corner.
Right 3 long, don't cut over crest.
Our timing is really awful. We're already 25 seconds down at this stage.
Left 4. Into right 6, 60.
There we go. 31-second difference right now.
Right 5 long, jump maybe.
There's a very narrow track here up in the mountains right now.
Hairpin right opens. And ice patches from here.
Alright, we're going to have patches of ice on the track. There it is.
Into right 4 over jump, don't cut, 40 narrows. Left 6 over crest.
Just trying to feather it over the crest. You don't want to go flying over those. Not at this stage anyway, I don't think. Just trying to keep the speed down. Alright, straight. We can use the power right here.
Into hairpin left.
Hairpin coming up, brakes on. Locking it up a little bit there. But that's okay, we got through it just fine. Alright, 40 seconds down now.
Crest 40. Caution crest, left 6. Immediate hairpin right.
There's a hairpin here, trying to pull it through. Kind of just approaching the halfway mark now, and overall, I mean, driving on tarmac is a lot different to driving on the dirt, especially I'm practicing a lot more with the muddy tracks in Wales for this video, so this is certainly new. Just trying to keep an eye out for those icy patches there.
Into right 5. Into left 6.
There's a patch of ice right there.
Long, don't cut.
Yep, ice is dangerous.
Into care, left 1 long, narrow on exit.
Narrows on exit. There we go.
150 through dip.
So yes, what happened there is we hit a patch of ice and it happened to kick the tail out a little bit more as I was trying to get traction back. So ice is dangerous. It's particularly so because they've rendered it so realistically. It just looks like a shiny patch on the road and it's so hard to see it. Completely missed that hairpin there, that's fine. Alright, so put the throttle down again. Open it up and straights.
And right too long, tights to 1. Left
Just
2.
trying to keep it
And
under
right
control
100.
here.
Right 5 over crest.
Just trying to take every turn a lot more cautiously than I normally would. And avoiding steering on those icy patches as well.
And left 2 half long.
We're almost a minute down now.
Don't cut on exit. Into left 4, continue to 80.
Spinning out earlier probably didn't help though.
Right
So,
6 long over crest 100.
trying to make use of every straight to get as much speed as we possibly can before we have to slow down for the next turn.
Long past junction 60. Left 4 long.
We spun.
80.
That is a nasty crash right there. Well, we're back on our way again.
Caution left 5 long. And hairpin right. And right 6 long 40.
And there we go,
60.
demonstrating the importance of listening to your co-driver right there.
Caution left
Completely
2
missed the hairpin warning.
Into right 2 long 100. Ice from here. Left 6 long.
Back on the
40.
ice, and this is really icy right now.
Left 4 long double tightens. And
You can
right 2
even
long,
hear just the difference in the
5.
sound on the surface now. You can hear it just sort of
Into
digging up under the
right
ice there.
Into left 1 long opens. Into hairpin right.
Now, I could be wrong about this, but it does feel like it's sort of different thickness of ice on the road as well.
60.
At certain points it does seem to kind of fight the steering a lot more than it would.
Into left 1 long.
Didn't mean to do that. I think the bumper might have caught the edge there and just sort of dragged us in.
Open hairpin right.
And a little drift through that turn there.
To left 2 tightens for 1. Open.
And a minute 23 down. But don't worry, this is not about the timing, this is just getting to know this track. Right,
Left 2 opens and continues for 80.
left 2.
Into right 2 long crest.
And right
Right 6.
2. Oh, and we're
Into
off.
left 6.
We might need a recovery here. It's just completely beached just then, so...
Into right 4 long, don't cut.
And that's just the thing, you carry too much speed into a turn, it's going to really bite you.
Into left 3
Especially
long.
on the ice here, because it'll just slide you right off into the embankments on the side.
Into left 3. Into right 2.
Very, very different to driving on gravel, that's for sure. Oh god.
Into left 4 long 40. Turn right 4 to finish.
And there we go. So, first time run on that track, and really, first time, and not even joking. It wasn't, never ran that course before. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dirt Rally, and I'm really liking it. Let's just have a look at the replay here. So you can kind of see what I mean about the graphics going down on the replay there. But yeah, this is Dirt Rally. It's very nice to see Rally kind of making a comeback here. Hopefully this takes off, because I think Rally itself has been taking a back seat over the last couple of years, with WRC4 being, I think, the main kind of rally game for a very long time indeed. So it's nice to see it kind of come back to the scene and hopefully take a place alongside a lot of the bigger racing games that have been coming out. Think games like F1, games like Forza, Gran Turismo. And in particular, Gran Turismo has had little bits of rallying in it, which were, while fun, haven't really been a main kind of rally game at all. So it's nice to see kind of a rally-focused game with such good detail in its simulation back again. Yes, the graphics are a little bit dated in some places, but you know what? That's perfectly fine. Honestly, it's perfectly fine, because after all, why would the backdrop need to be so detailed when most of it's covered in dirt and dust? But, you know, I digress. So, a very good rally game, and nice to see rallying come back again. So thank you very much for watching. This has been Panzer taking a look at Dirt Rally. It's now available on Steam Early Access. Go pick it up if you're a fan, and just make sure you have a controller or a wheel to play it with, because keyboard is really going to bite you if you play this. And I'll see you next time.